When it comes to vermicomposting, I choose leaves as my #1 bedding material because a lot of the same benefits that it lends to worms in the wild are also available to my worms in my vermicomposting operation. If you're running into issues like mite population explosions, if you're getting some bad smells coming out of your bin, or the vermicompost, the texture is very soggy, very sticky, these are issues that all get back to what kind of bedding you're using and how much of it you're adding to your bin. So here are a few tips on how to collect leaves. First of all, you want to dry your leaves. You want to collect your leaves right around this time of the year in the fall. You want to put them in a bag in a place that is very dry. Attics are usually the best place to do it because you want the leaves to become really dry, almost like brittle bone dry, because that way when you add them to your vermicomposting system, they're going to soak in a lot of the excess humidity. So one of the most common concerns when adding leaves to your vermicomposting system that I hear from a lot of vermicomposting forums is, am I going to add bugs into my system if I add leaves? Let me share with you something. If you're collecting leaves that just fell from the trees, these are the type of leaves that people usually rake and put into bags. Those leaves don't have bugs that you need to be concerned about, because those leaves, they don't have any microorganisms or invasive worms living in them just yet. The kind of leaves that you would want to be cautious about is collecting leaf litter, meaning layers of leaves that fell last season and have been sitting around for months and months and months. Those leaves are probably colonized by native worms. Most of them won't really survive inside of a vermicomposting system, but that is a scenario where you have to be cautious. So what you want to do is you want to collect the leaves that just fell from the trees this season and you want to dry them. You want them to be bone dry, very brittle to the touch, because when you add that material to your vermicomposting system, it's going to soak in a lot of that excess humidity, so it helps you stabilize that key function that is humidity. Hey, do me a favor, please click like and subscribe to my channel and share this information, share this video with folks that are going to benefit from getting this information. By drying the leaves, you're also making sure that there is no life, there is no microorganisms or worms or insects living in that material, because most life forms require a high level of humidity. They require water to be able to survive. So if you collect your leaves, you put them in a place that is very dry. Attics are usually the best place because they heat up a lot during the summer. At that point, you pretty much have sterilized those leaves. So that's what I do. I collect several bags of leaves and I keep them in an attic. And what that allows me to do is that I have a rotation system. So right now, I still have leaves from last year. At this point, they're very dry. They're very brittle. So that's the ideal material to use in my vermicomposting operation. However, because we are in the middle of fall and there is a lot of leaves falling down, this is when I collect the leaves that I'm going to use next year. Something that is noteworthy at this point is that there are tree species like the black walnuts and eucalyptus that have allopathic qualities. That means these trees have the capacity to chemically suppress the growth of other plants under their canopy. And that is a defense mechanism against invasive species and competing species. However, if you're working with these trees in your landscape, you want to be mindful of those properties, because you don't want to add something to your vermicomposting system that is going to irritate the worms or is going to potentially do harm to their skins. My favorite type of leaves for vermicomposting is actually oak and maple. So here's what you're going to do next. You're going to check out another video that I made on biochar and what are the benefits of biochar in terms of creating microbial ecosystems, because if you're using leaves and you combine them with biochar, you're really unlocking a lot of potential for microbial biodiversity. And remember, worms eat microbes. They don't really eat the food scraps. What they are doing is processing the food scraps to take out a lot of the nutrient that comes from those microorganisms that are working on that material.